Okay, welcome to another week of Prep Sports Chat. This is sports editor Jeff Kewen along here with high school coordinator Keith Dunlap. And Keith, as we do every week, I'm just going to wind it up and hand it over to you. Lots going on the high school circuit. Why don't you give us a rundown?
Yeah, shoot, we're winding on down here toward the end of the season, believe it or not. The shortest of all seasons is getting near to where it's crunch time. So, especially so right now in girls soccer, the best league in the state, in my opinion, OA1, is coming down to the wire. Big few days here that should decide the league title. Rochester, as we film this Thursday afternoon, Rochester and Rochester Adams, city rivals and two contenders, will hook up today, and obviously who wins that's going to get a leg up in the standings. And then Tuesday, Troy Athens at Rochester. I think they've won the last 4 or 5 league titles. They'll meet at Rochester for their second time this year. They've tied. They tied earlier at Athens, and as of right now, as we film this, they're the top 2 league teams in the league standings. So sort of a big few days upcoming in OA1, but of course, as any coach would tell you, it's all just a good preparation till 2-3 weeks down the road when the playoffs start. And oh yes, I'd be remiss. I don't want to feel the wrath of our legendary track rider Marv Goodwin. OA track meets are going to be held this weekend and Friday as well. I think the big one to look out for would be the OA1 meet on Friday at Southfield High School. If you read Marvin, the legend, OA or West Bloomfield and boys and girls probably the favorites, but they'll be challenged, I'm sure, by a horde of others, Southfield, Clarkson girls, and whatnot. So, yeah, getting down to it, and then next week it really starts to heat up again with some regionals and tennis and track and the county golf tournament. We'll get more into all that next week, but yep, it's plugging along here.
Super Saturday is 3 weeks away. Is that the day they
believe it is? Yep, May 31st, 3 weeks away. Although it isn't going to be quite as super this year. I didn't know this till the other day looking at the schedule. Boys golf, their state tournament, their state finals are actually going to be held June the 6th and the 7th. Because unlike the girls, because of the season switching boys and girls golf, because there are more boys teams in the state, what they did is last year, in the fall of '06, they instituted a thing where boys play district, regional tournaments, and then the state tournament. So you have to win in district, and then a region. You finish in the top 6 in the district, and then top 3 in regional, and then you go on to states. Whereas opposed to girls, just play one regional tournament and then states. So because of that, it won't quite be a Super Saturday because instead of competing with tennis and track, boys golf finals will actually be a week later. So, but it'll still be a big day in terms of just sheer participation for athletes. No other day on the calendar comes close to that day.
Excuse me. One more thing to plug this weekend: the big Fred Pieper tournament in Royal.
Yeah, that's. I don't know if I want to use this analogy because the folks at the Pieper tournament might get a little upset, but whatever. If you're gonna say that you have the Kentucky Derby and then the Preakness Stakes, I think the Pieper tournament, that's a good analogy to use. It's not quite as prestigious, not as many teams as the Stars tournament, but still a darn good tournament. And I think it'd be the Preakness Stakes to the Stars tournament's Kentucky Derby. So, and it should be 16. And the one thing, unlike the Stars tournament, Lakeland, which is one of our best teams, will compete there at the Pieper tournament. And I think it's its 30th year. So
you can read a history on that tomorrow in the Oakland Press.
Yep, it is a good tournament, very good tournament.
Our friend Jim Evans down at the Tribune taking care of that. Keith, always a pleasure talking with you. Let's do it again next week as we get closer to Super Saturday. This is Jeff Kewen and Keith Dunlap with Prep Sports Chat, and we'll see you again next week on the internet.